our compulsion to eat. A lot of times we talk about binge eating, but also we have other compulsions towards food. It could be anorexia. Some people exercise. It's they want to do exercise, compulsion towards that, whatever it is. Bulimia, all of these diseases are related to the food, right? It's our obsession, our thinking about it. So the rejoicement comes in, and where the 12 steps in this beautiful program we have comes in, it's in the spirituality of understanding that, we can rejoice in spiritual things because we're looking for the happiness out of our relationship with food. And that's where we go wrong. Whether it's food, it could be any material things of the flesh. Gluttony being one of them, as it says in the 7 deadly sins, but pride, material things. All these things, we lust after them. So here we are on a holiday, and maybe a lot of us are thinking about, all we're thinking about is we don't realize it is about the food or whatever is related to it, the compulsion with it. So it's amazing here that we have and it says in the whole big book, in all of this program, it tells us there's only one solution. From Dr. Silkworth said, there's only one solution till we go to We Agnostics on page 44 and 45. We'll read maybe in a minute from that. If you have your big book there, it talks about there's only one answer to this problem that we have. And the way out of it is, and there's a chapter called There's a Solution, if you go to page 25, and we have a replacement, which is the real inner source of happiness coming from a spirit of God, of our understanding, and in all different concepts of religious philosophy, which this is based on, and all kinds of philosophy. It has to do with that conception that we are created in the image of a higher creative power. We want to block that out with our intellect and our egos saying, I got a great idea, I'll make it all about this compulsion I have towards addictions. It could be food, it could be success, people, and all these things in our lives that take us away from the real joy and happiness. So on page 25, I just like to read just a little bit, but if you go there in the third full paragraph, the great fact is just this, actually go to paragraph before. In the middle of that paragraph, it says, when therefore we are approached by those in whom the problem had been solved. So the problem being our compulsion towards food, right? Many of us here for over-compulsiveness towards it and eating and binge eating, right? And there was nothing for us left to do but pick up the kit of simple spiritual tools laid at our feet. If you liked the video so far, press the like and subscribe button. We found much of heaven, and we've been rocking the fourth dimension of existence. So we have to realize when we're into our addiction, it could be drugs, alcohol. We talk about all 12-step programs here. It could be people who gamble, whatever it is, whatever your choice is to be, it's all the same thing. It's a material thing. So here it says we could be rocketed, going above into the fourth dimension of existence, which we had not even dreamed. When I go to meetings and I talk about how happy and joyous life is, I could wake up in the morning, and even when I find it isn't, I have a solution now. I can think of the real innate joy is in here. And when I read, I can read from religious books, whatever it is. If I read a page in here, like I just read, I could wake up, I could be devastated by being upset about something or fear, right? And I read this and it tells me that that's false. The real truth is this joy and happiness we have there. We're burying it, the sunlight of spirit, with our materialism. So it goes on to say, then the next paragraph, the great fact is just this and nothing less, that we've had deep and effective spiritual experiences which have revolutionized our whole attitude towards life, towards a fellow, and towards God's universe. So the whole perception changed towards our addiction. That's what we needed. Because all the diets in the world, all the trying to control it, whatever compulsion you have towards food, whatever we did didn't work. Because we were making the problem more real. We were making it into the thing we resist the most, we're making it more real. But we can rise above it. We can replace it with spirit. I always like to say the phrase spiritual bread. And it goes in, actually I just saw it near the bottom here, I have underlined in the last paragraph, which there is no return through human aid. No return through human aid, yet these billion-dollar industries that try to help us with our compulsions, it doesn't work. All the people, like I said, I was listening to a lecture on the internet. It was about an hour long. It was all the scientists and doctors and nutritionists. And they all talked about a solution, and their ways of doing it, but they never once mentioned the word spirituality. It was trying to control it. Just like, the modern science, all the scientists tries to control things. But how can you relate even the most scientific advances today to the miracle of when you get a cut and how it heals itself and all these miracles in life? just everything about life, nature and everything around us, and the way we see, we hear. If you liked the video so far, press the like and subscribe button. Come to our free Zoom meeting. See info in description. Now back to our video. So if we give the body a chance to heal, I eat healthy, and the body has a chance to heal from all of these things, but also I have to be healthy up here. When I'm healthy and work these 12 steps and have that spiritual awakening, it just makes me realize that it gets out of self, the ego, which is again trying to control the food, whether it's has this craziness and compulsion. Step 2 say we had to restore it to sanity. So the compulsion could be to resist it or overindulge in it. Whatever way you look at it, it's all a crazy perception where we take it upon our own self-will. So when we get more spiritual, more into tune, we'll intuitively know how to handle these situations. A lot of time we read the 10-step promises, which talks directly about that. But starting with the doctor's opinion, when he talks about there's only one solution. If you go to page 44 in the big book, and it just says there, we are suffering, it's in the first paragraph, from an illness which only a spiritual experience will conquer. And then in the next paragraph it says to be doomed to an alcoholic death, or we could say death from food, or to live on a spiritual basis are not always easy alternatives to face. A compulsion towards food. And then page 45, of course, it says lack of power, that was our dilemma. We had to find a power greater than ourselves. Ourselves and our ego can't resolve anything. And a power greater will solve your problem. Will solve your problem towards food. So rejoice. The reason I say rejoice, and again, is because when we're rejoicing in the real happiness and joy that God created us to have, then we don't need to go. When we're upset, right? Emotional eating, people call it. Emotion towards resisting food, whatever it is, it has to do with our emotions and compulsions. And when we forget about all of that, or it could be gambling, or somebody says they have a problem sleeping. A lot of times, if I ever did have a problem sleeping, I was concerned about the problem itself. It's not so much the problem; it's our overthinking of it where the problem comes in. Because when we're centered, all things are possible in life, and dealing with people and situations and everything. All the problems are related, and all the problems are the same. So we have a solution here, and so the real happiness and joy is we're going to find within here. The first thing that came to my mind, maybe I'll go out to eat, or is a meal, and then I started to realize if I'm making all about that, I miss out on everything else in life, and that's what we're doing in our disease. We become very finite, whatever disease and compulsion we have towards food. And again, I'm here. A lot of times I talk about the food, but it's related. If you're gambling, it's all about that too. You find it in a game of chance, or whatever it is, or in people. You're looking for people to make you happy, right? That's what we do. So we make it again, if you're making a person to make you happy, very finite, whereas you're not experiencing the real joy and happiness and bliss. And then we get into what's called self-centered fear, and then we can't resolve our problem. So we go on for years and years trying to diet, trying to control the food situation. We're wondering why we can't. The fear itself is in our stomach, so we can't feel when it's full or whatever, or when it's not full. If somebody's not eating the right amount of foods, it's all the fear is in there.